the Swineherd. There was once a poor prince. He possessed a kingdom which, though small, was yet large enough for him to marry on, and he wished to be married. Now it was certainly a little audacious of him to venture to say to the emperor's daughter, "Will you marry me?" But he did venture to say so, for his name was known far and wide. There were hundreds of princesses who would gladly have said yes. But would she do the same? We shall see. On the grave of the prince's father grew a rose tree, a very beautiful rose tree. It only bloomed every 5 years, and then bore but a single rose. But oh, such a rose! Its scent was so sweet that when you smelt it, you forgot all your cares and troubles. And he might also have a nightingale which would sing if all the beautiful melodies in the world were shut up in its little throat. The rose and this nightingale the princess was to have, and so they were both put into silver caskets and sent to her. The emperor had them brought to him in the great hall where the princess was playing. Here comes the duke a-riding with her ladies-in-waiting. And when she caught sight of the big caskets which contained the presents, she clapped her hands with joy. "Oh, if only it were a little pussycat," she said. But the rose tree with the beautiful rose came out. "But how prettily it is made," said all the ladies-in-waiting. "It's more than pretty," said the emperor. "It's charming." But the princess felt it, and then almost began to cry. "Papa," she said, "it's not artificial. It is real." Said all the ladies-in-waiting. "It is real." "Let us see first what is in the other casket before we begin to be angry," thought the emperor. And there came out the nightingale. It sang so beautifully that I could scarcely utter a cross word against it. "Superbe! Charmant!" said the ladies-in-waiting, for they all chattered in French, each one worse than the other. "How much the bird reminds me of the musical snuff-box of the late empress," said an old courtier. "Ah, yes, it is the same tone, the same execution." "Yes," said the emperor, and then he wept like a little child. "I hope this, at least, is not real?" asked the princess. "Yes, it is a real bird," said those who had brought it. "Then let it fly away," said the princess, and she would not, on any account, allow the prince to come. But he was nothing daunted. He dirted his face, drew his cap well over his face, and knocked on the door. "Good day, Emperor," he said. "Can I get a place here as a servant in the castle?" "Why, yes," said the emperor. "But there are so many who ask for a place that I don't know whether you will be one for you. But still, I will think of you. Stay, it has just occurred to me that I want someone to look after the swine, for I have so many of them." And the prince got the situation of imperial swineherd. He had a wretched little room close to the pigsties. Here he had to stay. But the whole day he sat working, and when evening was come, he made a pretty little pot. All round it were little bells, and when the pot boiled, they jingled most beautifully, and played the old tune, "Where is Augustus dear? Alas, he's not here, here, here." But the most wonderful thing was that when one held one's finger to the steam in the pot, then at once one could smell what dinner was ready in any fireplace in the town. That was indeed something quite different from the rose. Now the princess came walking past with all her ladies in waiting, and when she heard the tune, she stood still, and her face beamed with joy, for she could also play Where is Augustus Dear? It was the only time she knew, and that she could play with one finger.
"Why, that is what I play," she said. "He must be a most accomplished swineherd. Listen, go down and ask him what the instrument costs."
And one of the ladies in waiting had to go down, and she put on wooden clogs.
"For what will you take the pots?"
asked the lady in waiting. "I will have 10 kisses from the princess," answered the swineherd.
"Heaven forbid,"
said the lady in waiting.
"Yes, and I will sell it for nothing less," replied the swineherd.
"Well, what does he say?" asked the princess.
"I really hardly like to tell you," answered the lady in waiting.
"Oh, that you can whisper to me."
"He is disobliging," said the princess, and went away.
But he had only gone a few steps when the bell was ringing out so prettily.
"Where is Augustus dear? Alas, he's not here.
"Listen," said the princess. "Ask him whether he will take kisses from my ladies in waiting."
"Oh, thank you," said Swineherd. 10 kisses from the princess, or else I keep my pot."
"That is very tiresome," said the princess. "But you must put yourselves in front of me, so that no one can see me."
And the ladies in waiting placed themselves in front, and then spread out their dresses. So the swineherd got his 10 kisses, and she got the pot. Oh, what happiness that was! The whole night and the whole day the pot was made to boil, and there was not a fireplace in the whole town where they did not know what was being cooked, whether it was at the chancellor's or at the shoemaker's. The ladies in waiting danced and clapped their hands.
"We know who is going to have soup and pancakes. We know who is going to have porridge and sausages. Isn't this interesting?"
"Yes, very interesting," said the first lady in waiting.
"But don't say anything about it, for I'm the emperor's daughter."
"Oh, no, of course we won't," said everyone.
The swineherd, that is to say the prince, though they did not know anything but a true swineherd, let no day pass without making something. One day he made a little rattle, which, when it was turned around, played all the waltzes, gallops, and polkas which had ever been known since the world began.
"That is superb,"
said the princess as she passed by.
"I've never heard a more beautiful composition. Listen, go down and ask him what this instrument costs, but I won't kiss him again."
"He wants 100 kisses from the princess," said the lady in waiting, who had gone down to ask.
"I believe he is mad,"
said the princess, and then she went on, but she had only gone a few steps when she stopped.
"One ought to encourage art," she said. "I am the emperor's daughter. Tell him he shall have, as before, 10 kisses. The rest he can take from my ladies in waiting."
"But we don't at all like being kissed by him," said the ladies in waiting.
"That's nonsense," said the princess. "If I can kiss him, you can too. Besides, remember that I gave you board and lodging."
So the ladies in waiting had to go down to him again. 100 from the kisses from the princess, he said, or each keeps his own.
"Put yourselves in front of us,"
she said then. So all the ladies in waiting put themselves in front, and he began to kiss the princess. "What can that common motion be by the pigsties?" asked the emperor, who was standing on the balcony.
He rubbed his eyes and put on his spectacles.
Why, those are the ladies-in-waiting playing their games. I must go down to them.
So he took off his shoes, which were shoes, though he had trodden them down into slippers. What a hurry he was in, to be sure. As soon as he came into the yard, he walked very softly, and the ladies-in-waiting were so busy counting the kisses and seeing fair play that they never noticed the Emperor, and he stood on tiptoe.
What is that?
He said when he saw the kissing, and then he threw one of his slippers at the heads, just as the swineherd was taking his 86th kiss.
Be off with you,
said the Emperor, for he was angry. And the princess and the swineherd were driven out of the empire. And then she stood still and wept. The swineherd was scolding, and the rain was streaming down. Alas, what an unhappy creature I am, sobbed the princess. If only I'd taken the beautiful prince. Alas, how unfortunate I am. And the swineherd went behind a tree, washed the dirt from his face, threw away his old clothes, and then stepped forward in his splendid dress, looking so beautiful that the princess was obliged to curtsy.
I now come to this. I despise you, he said. You would have nothing to do with a noble prince. You did not understand the rose or the nightingale, but you would kiss a swineherd for the sake of a toy. This is what you get for it. And he went into his kingdom and shut the door on her face. And she had to stay outside singing. Where's my Augustus, dear? Alas, he's not here. Here.